All right, so what I'm going over right now is what we went over Wednesday. I'm going to be following the database research guide that I emailed out to you guys. Okay, so the first step is you want to go to the library homepage. All right, go ahead and scroll down. Right under articles and databases, go ahead and click that. Click View All Databases. You can also search by subjects. That was on the other screen before I clicked View All Databases. I would encourage you to start with Academic Search Premier. It goes through thousands of databases in a variety of different subjects and disciplines, so it's a great starting point. So I am going to start with language and identity. Okay, so before I start typing in search terms, let me show you how to choose more databases. So start with Academic Search Premier. Once you kind of got a feel for what's coming up with your search terms there, you can choose additional ones, more than one if you want a bigger, or if you just want to try different, you can click on different ones. ERIC is great for education. They have like a little blurb right here for each one, what one it is. Psych info would be good, especially if you're doing language and identity. That could be an aspect that you explore. And definitely the MLA International Bibliography. So I'm just going to do all of them, see what comes up at this point, because this is an initial search. So I'm going to type in language and identity. So if I put in identity, it will give me only language and identity, but I also want stuff if it was like language identities, right? So to get the root word, you just put the asterisk right there. So I'm modeling what this looks like right now, but as I see the other words for identity, it's going to give me like identification, other stuff. So this is what it looks like when you want like the plural, the noun, the adjective form of the word, okay? Which sometimes you want to be intentional about including that, or sometimes you don't, right? So I'm just going to put language and identity right now, and I'm going to keep it very general because I'm just starting out. Other things that are helpful when you just start out, put apply related words. That means they'll essentially help you with search terms that you're looking for. I'm not going to select full text. If I put full text, it will only give me articles that the database has. If you're doing a last minute thing, you definitely want to click full text, but we have lots of time at this point, and it will give me a link and send me electronically the full text to anything that I want. So I'm definitely going to do that. Very important, click scholarly peer-reviewed journals, right? So all the sources need to be scholarly peer-reviewed journals. I'm going to click English only. And it's gonna give me a lot of stuff, but I'm just gonna see what I'm dealing with. Because this is in the humanities, they're more interested in the person and who said it than the year, like they are in the sciences. But if this was for your science classes, you'll definitely want to put this in within the 5 to 10 year range. I'm going to do it the last 10 years just because I have so many sources. I want to deal with what's recent. So the different ways to do this, I'm going to share my approach. If it works for you, great. You can make your own out of this though. Go ahead and start with reading the titles first. see what ones sound interesting to you. From there, say like these first two sound like possible areas that you might be interested in. I would read the abstract. You click on this little icon right here. This comes up. Go ahead and read the abstract. Once you have an article that the title looks good, the abstract looks interesting, go ahead and click this to add it to your folder. Before you log out, you'll want to email yourself or print out or save all of these that you list here. If you exit out or log out without emailing it to yourself, it's not automatically saved. So because we started off with just 2 search terms that were very general, that I didn't really know where it's going to lead, I'm going to use the titles and subjects to add on. So one thing that I see a lot is linguistic identity. So I'm going to say language or linguistic. And identity, let's leave it at that. Let's see what comes with that. All right, so then now I have more searches that are more focused on linguistic identity, right? And I can even add in Ansel Dua. So say I really liked her piece. I want something semi-related. I'll click on Ansel Dua, and anything that people referenced her piece talking about language or linguistic identity will come up as well. So I'm going to stop there with the subject terms. A couple more things to show you. So right here, these for number 5, when you find an article that fits closely with your research, we call that a seed article in academia. So go ahead and look at the reference page for that. Read the titles, see which ones sound interesting, and it's very likely that if this is a conversation you want to tap into, that the other sources that they cite are going to be useful. For academic articles, when they start off, there's always a literature review in the beginning that synthesizes where the conversation has gone. So when you find that seed article, you're going to want to look up those sources that they reference. So say you have a citation that you got from the reference page or the works cited page. You're going to go to the library homepage. Instead of, you click on article and databases like we did before, and then click on article tool finder. And this will take you to a page where you just fill in the citation information and it will pull it up in the database. Or if they don't have it, if APU doesn't have it, then they will email you it in a couple days. So it's always help. It's free. They email it to you. You just fill out the information. I usually do it even if I'm like only partially interested, just because it's nice to have more sources. Let me see the last thing. So list of journal titles. When it comes to selecting your research topic, here's a list of stuff we have and are going to cover in class, but essentially anything that relates to the field of composition or secondary education, since that directly informs the first year comp class. And to figure out what scholars in the field of composition are talking about, I copied and pasted. I didn't write this list. I pasted a list of the top journals in the field of composition. There's a description under each so you can see which one will mostly have my interest. So this is just what this looks like to show you. Right, so just from being in the field, I know that college composition and communication is a huge journal. So I'm going to look there. So essentially you go to the home page again. Let me start from there. So this is when you want to see what issues composition scholars are talking about. You go to journal titles, and you will type that in, and then click on it, search in the recent issues, and look through the articles, same as when we were typing the subject terms. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful. This is intended to be a resource for when you're outside of class doing research. If you experience some hiccups, utilize this video as well as the research page that I wrote for you guys. Okay, and that is emailed.